Good evening and welcome to another episode of Capsules of Love. I am your host, Richard Lawrence Sr. And remember what God says. God says yes, a resounding yes, I love you with an everlasting love. This evening on Capsules of Love, Self-Love, Self-Care, we're going to speak on part 4 of taking responsibility of self, taking responsibility of yourself. We are going to speak from the theme psychological well being or psychological health. The first week we spoke about emotional health, the second week we spoke about mental health, last week we spoke about physical health, and this week we are going to look at psychological health. Psychological health have to do with the mind and willpower and behavior. Remember, in all of these pieces that we are looking at, taking care of oneself, it is no one's responsibility, not your spouse, not your children, not mom, not dad, not friends, not loved ones, no, not your partner. It is your responsibility to care for the needs of your psychological well-being. It is your responsibility to take care that you have a healthy mind. It is your responsibility to make sure you watch over what your willpower is and what your behavior is. Let's get started. Psychological willpower, psychological behavior, the mental state of one's mind. How does this work? Let's just do a simple exercise, right? I love ice cream. Haagen-Dazs happens to be one of my favorite ice cream. Love butter pecan, love vanilla cherry, and I also love rum raisin. Love those flavors. Now, here is the thing. I will eat one whole pint, and if that's not enough, I'll eat another pint. Where is my willpower? Eating that much ice cream, even though I might be slender, is not good cholesterol wise. It's also loaded with sugar, and there's a lot of fat inside of that thing that's not good for you. It's going to take willpower and a behavior. Oh, well, I love to eat ice cream because it's comfort food. No, 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 no. That's not good for you. So you don't need someone to say to you, this is not healthy for you, stay away from that, don't do this. That was just the ice cream part of it, right? What about the part having to do with how you think about yourself or what you feel about yourself or what people say about you? How do I handle this part of things? How do I make my mind go into overdrive? Do I assume that people are thinking the worst of me? Or do I have a healthy way as to how I see myself and view myself? Do I have to be affirmed by people in order to have this healthy behavior or this healthy idea of how I see myself? How is my behavior toward myself? How do I see myself? Because psychologically, whether we want to believe it or not, your mind is what makes everything about you works. It regulates temperature, blood pressure. It regulates how you look at life. It regulates how you see things. All these different things, all these parts and pieces works. So psychological well-being begins with you and it begins with me. It doesn't begin with anyone. It starts with us and it ends with us. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't stop to think about what people think about us, but it should not be the marker by what judges us. For example, I'm wearing a gray triple breasted suit with a purple tie and a white shirt. Some people might be like, well, I don't think that purple tie goes well with that gray. They might have a point, that's true, but I happen to like it. I happen to think it works well. Also, imagine if someone watches this video and they said, that man has no fashion sense, and I now take that to heart. I start looking at myself in such a way that psychologically, I now start to become I wonder what people are going to think. Is people not going to watch my videos because my combinations are not correct? Is it that my hanky in my top pocket? It's all these things. No, ladies and gentlemen. You must have a sense of self. And because you have a sense of self, when someone agrees or disagrees with you, doesn't make you now turn on yourself and become so critical of yourself that you start shunning away. No. At the same time, you don't want people to think so highly of you that you become a narcissist. We're going to continue this come next week. Remember, the same way we start, it's the same way we're going to end. Remember what God says. God says, yes, I love you. A resounding yes, I love you with an everlasting love. Have a good rest of your night. Remember, it's no one else's responsibility to take care of you psychologically but you. Have a good rest of your evening, and God bless you.